Good morning, everyone. Good morning to Diane in France. Probably this is early hours of the morning there, Diane.
It's 11:34 p.m.
Oh, Isa, thank you so much for committing your time to us when you could be resting at this time. We really appreciate your participation in this in our training these past few days. We really could learn a lot from what you contribute. I really loved the information you shared last week about for someone to adapt or to learn a new habit, it takes 21 days. That's amazing, because we all did not know that, and definitely I'm going to use that in my trainings, so that people can understand how it actually works, that it does not work over time. Like I had mentioned already in the financial first step training and now in the business basic, you have to consistently apply this so that you can get a hang of it, that you can understand how best it works for you. So thank you so much. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Yes, Diane, it is a learned behavior, as you mentioned it in the chat. Just to recap on the past 2 days, we did financial first step training on Tuesday, and that was basically, targeting individuals, your personal income, and how to best manage it, and the saving culture. I was mainly hoping to instill the saving culture with us. The Wednesday session was on the first half of the business basic training. We covered a balance sheet. We learned the terms. We had a family business that was guiding us throughout the learning. And we were able to construct the balance sheet, a very simple one. And the purpose of us doing that activity, just for our knowledge. Some of us, we need to, just brush our knowledge on basic accounting terms that we learned from when we were in high school, the early years of high school. Maybe for the younger ladies in the forum right now, for us, we learned it in Form 3 and Form 4, and then there were those that progressed to learning it in higher secondary level. So maybe for you it's different. I'm not sure what the school curriculum, how the school curriculum works now, whether it's still in the year 9 level, or is it now in the primary level. Anyway, so I tried as best as I could, to deliver the information, in a very simple simple understanding. So what I would say, this is something Mervyn can understand, what a reasonable person can understand. This is the law terms that we use. So this is something that I tried as best as I could, and I wanted to ask everyone, do you have any questions from the two days training? We had our answering. I always allow for answering question time at the end of the session, but I always ask, if you think of it after the learning, like today is our last session together, bring it to the forum so that we can see how best we can answer your question. Okay, so we had a question last week. What was one of the questions that was asked last week? Was it from you, Diane?
Yes. The definition of goodwill.
Okay, all right. So just give me a minute. I haven't approached our accounting people here. Unfortunately, they were not available on Friday because, on Wednesday, because we had Diwali. So some of them left earlier because most of us are working from home. I was thinking of it this morning just to look out and see one of them. I haven't seen one of our accountants, but I will get a proper definition from them. One that's simple for everyone to understand. And if I don't answer it today in our session, I will send the answer to Mervyn, who can then email it out to all of you. Okay, so thank you for that question. It's good that we all understand, because in the learning material it says goodwill. So I have my definition of goodwill, but I prefer to go and find out from the the experts on the, on a right way of defining goodwill in the accounting context in a more simple language so that you can understand and apply it. Naka. So with that being said, I'm just going to share the screen. I hope you all had a good Diwali day yesterday. For those of you that in Fiji, Diane, I hope you were sort of having a little celebration too in France. You know, I'm sure you must be missing the Diwali sweets here. And I'm sure you're not missing the fireworks because it was quite noisy last night. So hope you all had a good break yesterday. Yeah. All right. So I'll just share this page now. Can you all see that? Yes. So we covered the learning on balance sheet, and today we are continuing our session, and we are starting off with, is the business making money? Okay. So when you are operating a business, we had we had started off last Wednesday on the starting of a business, the funding of a business, how you understand the terms, like what the business owns, when you have a debt, but they were all in the accounting context, and that's fine. I've simplified it, just so you understand how a business actually operates. Okay. So today, is the business making money? So you have to assume, or if you are already operating a business right now, you have to assume. If you haven't, so I've started, what's next? And this is it. Is the business making money? This is when you're going to actually see in detail, is the business making money, the operation part of it. Okay. So we will start off with this. What we're going to cover today is the income statement. The income statement, and then the funding cycle. So the income statement, the beginning is this, sales. So just to introduce, I won't really read much of it today, but I will try I want us to deliver it like this way, in conversation wise. So for example, when you go to a shop, okay, you go to a supermarket, and you go and purchase your items. When the cashier, or if it's like in overseas, maybe for DN, they have the self-service counter and all of that. Anyway, but let's take for example here in Fiji, you go to the supermarket, maybe you go to MH, you cash out your items, the cashier gives you a receipt with your change, like this. Okay, so what can you recollect? Let's just turn on all our mics. What can you recollect that is written on that receipt? Can you name a few things that you can remember? Or if you have a receipt right now in front of you, pull it out and look at it and just tell me from the top to the bottom, what are some things that are there on the receipt?
I'll start. So you have the name of the supermarket, date, time, your purchased items with the price.
Yes.
How much you paid, change. Sometimes they might have the initial or the name of the customer service agent, store number. Yes. I think Fiji has they also add VAT. I think the VAT number. VAT.
The text, the TIN number. We have the TIN number of the company on it. Yes. The day, they even have the exact time. Even a thank you note at the end of it. It's on the receipt. So anyway, I had to Broderick. I was going across the road to get a coffee, and then I pulled my receipt. I said, okay, I'm going to use this. So my point in asking that question is, when it comes to sales, that shop or that supermarket that you went to purchase your items from, they'll issue you a receipt, for you to keep, and with your change and everything else, and it's a record. It's a record of your purchase. However, for the business, for the supermarket, this is a record of their sale. They keep a copy as well. Okay. So this is what I want to highlight with us. When you are operating a small business, like Martha and for Anne, who does not know, we have two business stories in our session. and it's based on a tailoring business and a touring company business. Martha and Tom are married. Okay, so I'll just bring her up to speed. So with the tailoring business, if you look at her business, how is she recording it? Eh? It's important that she does her recording. Okay, so how is she recording her sales? Okay, and she has to keep a copy. Not all the time we will remember all our sale, all the transactions that's happening, who came to pay what. And a lot of businesses, well, not a lot, but most of the small ones, the ones that operate from home, the ones that operate even here in Suva, our flea market, they don't have a recording. To them, it's just the physical exchange of the cash. Eh? The physical exchange of the cash, that's their recording, all mentally, and then they just transacting day in, day out. Quite shocking for me to hear that our business people in the market, and I understand they've been there for years. Some of them are operating in the market for generations. One particular market vendor walked up to me after one of our sessions, and he said, just listening to this about recording my sale, I've been a market vendor in this market in our story for 7 years. I do not have any registration. I do not have any single recording of all my transactions. So you see that they just exchange of goods and cash. Like they go to the middleman, they buy all the bulk they need and they set it up, and then they just change like that. No recording. So unfortunately for that bucket vendor, the consideration of looking at grants, getting a grant from the government, some of the benefits that are here for him to, that he can make use of, he could not qualify for it because he does not have a single evidence that he has been operating from the market, apart from the fact that the market master knows him and they give him a receipt every time he has a table, but no transaction of all his sales. It's important that when you when you're are running a little project at home, I like to use the ice block business. Right now it's summer in Fiji, and that ice block business is going to thrive, because it's suitable for the weather. So even if you sell ice block from home, or somehow homes in our community, they sell bean and tamarind, we know of this. Still today they do that. How are they doing the recording? Are they even doing the recording? Okay, so everyone, what do you think? What are some easier way for you to do a recording if you're just starting up? What do you think?
Sorry, can I just say something?
Go ahead.
So yeah, so after listening to your whole explanation about their tailor business and everything, I think because I also run a small business where I do graffiti and arts. So one thing I've noticed that I could actually do and actually benefit from it is keeping logbooks, like just logging everything that I do from time to time, or like whenever I have to go out and do a piece, or if I have to just have to go and talk to people and give them quotations, I actually log those down so that I remember what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and like where I'm going, or if I'm actually running at a loss, or if I'm actually gaining from it. So yeah, those are like some of the things I think that are just starting off.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And that's good that you do that, because there might come a time you'd like to recall what conversation you held with so and so. You have it documented. Not all the time we can record and remember everything in our mind. And this is what I mean. Like some of us, we're too complacent. We just think, okay, it's no biggie. But really, if you're serious about your operation, you can start off with a little notebook. You can do your recording there. Another way you can do your recording, if you're really like transacting, keep a receipt book. Whenever there's an exchange of cash, keep a receipt book. You can get it from the bookshop, and it comes with a carbon paper. You buy the carbon paper, put it in, write a receipt, issue it to your customer or whoever is coming to make that cash transaction with you. You have a record of it. When you're free, because not all the time you're busy, you'll have downtime too when you're operating your business. When you're free, then you pull out your like Anne rightfully said, what was that, your logbook. Then you take it out and then you transfer that daily transactions here. Eh? And I would suggest get a fresh page. Come a new day, you know, you have some space on it. No, start fresh, new page, so that you can do your recording. Okay, it's an effort you have to make, and when you make the effort, the benefit is lasting. You know, for me, it's long term. You are literally establishing your long term, you know, recording and just information, background information on your business and how well it did. So when it comes to your sales, this is the sales part. When it comes to your sale, there are two reasons why you need to record. Okay, you need to make that effort and record. One, because at the end of the year, you need to see if your business had grown. How well did you do over the year? Two, the reason why you need to do recording, because you will do comparisons. You will be able to see for yourself which month was busy and which was not so busy. It will then tell you how to plan for the year to come, how to better plan. So come the next year after that recording, you'll be able to identify, oh, the month of January was busy, but March, it was slow. It should give you new ideas. Remember what I was mentioning about the three things you need to keep in mind when you start off your business. You need to have the skills. You need to have customers that will buy what you are selling, and you must always come up with new ideas. This is another way that you can activate that number three. So in order for you to continue, in order for you to be able to make money for your business or profits. We were talking about profits, so that your business can generate profits. You don't want to be wasting your time. As a business person, you're the first person to go to, to wake up in your family. You're probably the last person to sleep. You spend longer hours than the hours I spend in the office. I come to work 8 to 5, go home, and I can rest or whatever I need to do. But a business person, they don't stop working. They continue until they go to bed, because that's the sacrifice. That's the hard work that you need to put into your business in order for it to be sustained. So when you are doing all of that, remember, capture it so that it's worth your effort. It's worth your hard work. Okay, and you need to do that so that come the new year, like I said, new ideas that you can actually tell yourself, hey, you know what? I need to be doing this. And you just might be surprised. You just might be surprised how you discover that you have all these other skills and talent. And that's what happens when you do your recording. It will help you to be able to make that kind of decision or planning. Okay, good. So that's on sales. One moment. And then expenses. Remember, in a business, you also incur expenses. So when you go to get your supply from, for your business, say for example, Anne mentioned that you do graphic designing work. Is that correct?
No, I do graffiti and
graffiti.
abstract art. Yes.
Abstract art, yes. So when you go and get your supplies, do you actually have to go somewhere to get your supplies? Or do you work from a computer?
Well, I actually have to go out sometimes and get the supplies because, well, here in Fiji, we hardly have art supplies. So it's usually me ordering it offline overseas or having to like run around and see if I get connections from different places. Wow. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, and as you operate your business, you also incur expenses. So if you're ordering online, I'm sure they are sending you an invoice, they're sending you a receipt after. And that is the documentation of your expenses. Okay. So what I'd like you to understand, when you are incurring expenses in your business, one, as you make a lot of sales, you also incur a lot of cost. Okay. So for example, in the story of the tailoring business, Martha, suddenly one particular month, she had a huge order. And for her to meet that order, she needs to go and get the supply. So she's also increasing her expenses. She has to increase her purchase than the previous month. That's what happens. And you need to keep a record of that as well. One best thing you can do, because here in Fiji or anywhere else, you get receipts. Sometimes, we really take a look at it now, we keep it for a while, and then we chuck it. But for a business, you do not chuck these kind of things. The best thing you can do is get an A4 paper. You can glue it on the A4 paper, file it in a manila folder, or now in the bookshops, they have those plastic folders that you can just drop your receipts inside and keep it there. Keep one for your sales, keep one for your expenses. Then you transfer all the information into another book. For small businesses, what I would suggest is just get one book for you as you're starting off. The front is for your sales, start from the back for your expenses. You can come up with however you want it done, but as you're starting off and you are still trying to find your footing in your business, please do not neglect your record keeping. It is so important for you to see your record keeping, because here there are two types of payments or expenses you are incurring. One is directly with the product, the cost of sale. It's called cost of sale, directly to do with the product, which means it's your stock, it's your supply, it's probably like someone you had to involve to help you, like tailoring business such as Martha. Suddenly she had a big order and she needed someone to help her, so she'll pay the person just to help her for that short while to meet the deadline. That becomes cost of sale. And then there is another expense that you incur, which is called operating expenses. So the operating expenses has nothing directly to do with the product, but it has, well, I wouldn't say that, but it's just the other things that you have to incur. For example, transport, recharge, utility bills. If you have to incur that while operating your business, it's the operating expenses. I did the same training with the flea market vendors quite a while back. And when we were identifying their operating expenses, some of them said, hey, you know what? When I'm minding my stall during the day, I have to pay 50 cents to use the facility, the ladies' room, the bath, the toilet. So to them, they were saying, I'm not sure if that is part of the expenses. And then we were able to tell them, that is part of the operating expense, because you are operating your business in that same vicinity, and then you have to pay to use the toilet. You are incurring costs for your business. And they start to understand, so all of these are my operating expenses. They are the other expenses, not to do directly with the product, but they help. They help you to operate your business. Okay, so that's what you need to do, recording for your expenses for, because you'll be able to identify the two different costs. Sometimes some people will do this. I know, for example, they just buy their products, like I was mentioning, the ice block business. They buy all the ingredients to make the ice block. They make the ice block, they sell the ice block. All the money they get from after the sale, they calculate, oh, when I went to buy all the ingredients for the ice block, it was $15. So I managed to make $20 from selling. And they think that their profit is $5. Do you think this is true? Is it $5? No. They have to take into account, one, when they had to pay their bus fare to go and buy the ingredients. Transport, they have to take into account the bill, the electricity bill, for them to be the final, to put the ice block product in the freezer and freeze it. They have to take into account the water that they use to make the product. So those are the operating expenses. So if you look at it, probably from the $20, they spent another $4. So if you look at it rightfully, it was only $1 was their profit. Or maybe they didn't even make a profit. They went beyond the cost because of the operating expenses. Now, this is something a lot of people always forget. In the market, when I was running the session for them, they were saying, oh, so my operating expense too is when I pay the wheelbarrow boy to transfer my supply, my bulk supply from that side of the market to my table. They started to calculate. They said, hey, this thing getting expensive now. So this is why you need to do a recording of also your expenses. You need to see the two different costs, and it will truly reflect your profit. Okay. So before we go to profit, what I'd like us to have a look at is this is an income statement. So sales minus your expenses, whatever you have left becomes your profit. Okay. Excuse me. I have a whiteboard here. So here we go. Sales minus expenses equals profit. So if your expenses is more than your sales, are you making a profit? You're not, you are incurring a loss. Okay, I think this is more better. So you can see the board better. Okay, so there you go. All right, so I need you to understand that this is called an income statement. Income statement. Tian, you had asked there, where do I put my rent for the store that I'm operating? It will be recorded under the income statement. It will come under the expense column. Okay. So we are going to construct here. I have a case study here. Okay. We are going to construct an income statement. Okay. So the sales, will note down the sales, we'll note down all the expenses, and we'll identify we have a profit. All right. So if you look at what I've shared on the screen, that is an income statement for the tailoring business, Martha. That is an income statement of the month of April. Okay. So if you look at it, in the month of April, Island Styling sold 50 t-shirts for $5 each, 25 dresses for $10 each, 25 shorts for $10 each. So 50 t-shirts for $5 each, it comes to a total sale of 250. And same thing for 25 dresses and 25 shorts at $10 each, they are 250 each. So 250 plus 250 plus 250 makes 750. So the sales is 750. Okay. So at the bottom, I have excuse me, I have like a template of the income statement. You can see that. So it says the sales and then the cost of sale, and then we'll minus first that first expense, the cost of sale. It will show the gross profit, and then we will take into account the operating expenses. After we're able to deduct all the operating expenses, this business will then reflect if they made a profit or a loss for the month of April. All right. So for that, here, the sale is 750. Can you see that?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So now we have to identify the cost of sale. That's the first type of expense that business is incurring. Cost of sale. Okay. So the cost of sale, forgive me. The cost of sale is here. The fabric for the clothing sold cost $500. Martha had to go and bring all the fabric, and it cost her $500. And maybe she had a deadline. So she had to get a seamstress to help her out quickly. And that cost her another $60. So it was directly to do with the product, the actual making of the product, for all these t-shirt, dresses, and shorts. And that will be the cost of sale. It will come to 560. Okay. So 560 minus it from the whole sale, 750. So sale minus the first cost of sale, 560, it becomes 190. And this is the gross profit. Can you see that? All right. So we are going to read the bottom ones. Those are all the expenses that they have. They have Martha for island styling. She puts an ad in the newspaper for $10. Electricity for $5. Fuel for her motorcycle at $20. Maybe her recharge phone, $10. And her rent, $15. Yeah? And then she pays wages for $55. You know, you have to pay yourself wages. Yeah? So there you go. This becomes her operating expenses. Operating expenses. Okay. So we have ad. That is 10. We have electricity. I'll just put EFL. $5. We have fuel for $20. And then we have phone, 10, rent, 15, and then wages. Okay, 55. So how much is that? 30, 40, 50, 60, 115, eh? So this is 115, okay? 115. We will now minus 115 from the 190, okay? And then we will really see here, after all the costs, how much was their profit, eh? Can you all see that? So 115 minus 100 from 190 is $75. So island styling, if you look at that, for the month of April, if we had not known that the operating expenses are to be taken into account, we will be thinking, oh, island styling made $750 in the month of April. After paying the seamstress and buying the material, that expense from the material. Oh, we made a profit of $190. Maybe doing well, eh? We'd be thinking like that. But no. Now we identified in that same month, she had to buy recharge card. She was paying fuel. She was paying rent, maybe daily rent for her flea market, like that. She even paid $10 for the ad, not realizing that she did not make this recording. And then when we able to identify for her, when we are saying, hey, you had all these expenses, you forgot that you were buying recharge card and all of that. When she finally noted it down, and then she realized that she made $75 profit, not 190. So it's going to help you understand what kind of profit you are truly making. It will reflect the true profit of your business, the net profit. After you have taken into account all your costs, you have to do that. Okay. Why are you doing all this cost involved? Because over time, we are not, we don't want to be wasting our time running a business and it's not generating profit. That's why you have to do all this. And what will help you a lot is for you to always note your expenses. That's why we touched on sales and we touched on expenses. And I kept on emphasizing with us, collect your receipt. Do your note taking, your note taking of all your expenses, because at the end of the month, when you actually construct your income statement, you can clearly see whether you did make a profit that month or not. And it's going to help you to manage your expenses. It's going to tell you, well, I think for this month, I just don't, I just cut down on my phone bill. I can cut down on my phone bill. Maybe I can change from $10 to $5. It will help you to manage some of these. It will start telling you, okay, I can look at cost of sale, my materials. maybe I should shop around suppliers. So Alan Styling will start considering, every time I'm just buying from this supplier, I should shop around, have more options where I can get better deals so that I can cut back on my expenses. That's a whole reason why you need to do your recording, for you to be able to understand if you know where you can do certain things to earn more profit. Okay, I'm not saying to compromise the quality of your product. Never compromise the quality of your product, but just look at ways you can better manage your expenses. All right. So that's the case study for Alan Styling in the month of April. Okay, so moving forward, I'll show you another case study here because it's going to, help you better understand it. So in the next month, the month after April is May. Alan Styling did all these sales again. So she sold t-shirts, dresses, and shorts. And if you look at the quantity, it has increased from 50 to 60, 25 to 30, 25 to 35. See, look at all the quantity, it has increased. The price for the materials, look at it, okay, compare. Are the prices still the same for each item, the one she's charging? Are the prices still the same? The t-shirt is $5, the dresses is 10, and the shorts is? It has changed there? Yes, it has changed. The price has changed. Like, can you see it? Is it clear? Can you all view the?
Yes.
Okay. So if you look at it, Alan Styling made that sale the month after, and there was a change in the price for the shorts. It decreased. Okay. So Alan Styling, same thing, had the seamstress, the supply, the costing there, and then look at all the expenses. Add in the newspaper, electricity, fuel for the motorcycle, phone, rent, wages, insurance. Is there any difference from the operating expenses last month to this month?
Yes.
Okay, what's the difference? Can you name it?
We've got more finances for the fuel.
Okay.
And
In the amount, but she added a new expense, and that is the insurance. Okay, now let's have a look at her table for that month. Look at the table. Her sales was 775, cost of sales 580, gross profit 195. With all her expenses, the operating expenses, it came to 235, and it's more than the gross profit. So she incurred a profit or a loss at the end? Yes, she incurred a loss.
a loss.
That's correct. Yes. So if she knew, what could she have done differently so that she would not incur the loss? What could she have done differently looking at this information here compared to last month? What should she have done differently so that she does not incur that loss for the month after?
I don't think she should have, well, I don't think, but I could be wrong. That she should have decreased the price of her shorts. And she went down.
Yes. Why decrease the price for her shorts when she was able to sell 25 at $10? We don't know what her reason is, but the point is, if she knew that she was, she was taking on a new expense, she should have decreased the price for the shorts, because that was what landed her to incur a loss. Now, if you look at the activity we just did, it's clear. It's really clear in this activity for you to identify all your costs, the expenses. You'll be able to see in detail whether you are making a profit or not. So this income statement, it brings together all your daily recording for your sales, all your daily recording for all your expenses. When you're able to put it into an income statement for the month, and there you go. It will clearly show you what your business is operating on. If it was, generating a profit, or was it incurring a loss. In detail, your daily expenses, all of that you'll be able to see it here. Okay. And that's, like I mentioned already, that's why your recording is very important, because it will show you whether you are really making, your business is doing well, or you are really just, left in the dark, not realizing that you are operating a business that's not making profit. Okay. So this activity will help you with that. Okay. So I want us to look at profits. One moment. Here you go. Profit. I'll read this one out for us. Making a profit is about maximizing sales and minimizing expenses. An important part of making a profit is in setting the right price for the product or your service. Do you know that you can charge for your service? You can do that. Yes. Diane can attest to that, because she is a professional counselor. Is that correct, Diane? So there you go. She, when people need her help, she can use her skills in her field to charge for her profession, okay, or for her assistance in that matter. So there you go. Service. If we look at Island Styling, one of the things that she did differently was delivery. And and she can charge for that. Here in the office, some of us, we're busy, caught up in meetings. We're busy with serving our customers. We have so little time to be able to go out and and buy things, and we have some obligations we need to run around for, but we are unable to go there all the time. And what helps is when they can bring us the product. We can just order, they can bring it to us, and we are willing to pay for that extra service they're providing. So for Martha, when she's delivering, who knows, she's probably charging for her delivery. And that's what we see today, like during the lockdown here in Fiji, the COVID, the second wave of COVID. A lot of people could not, come out and enjoy the restaurants, and the restaurants picked it up from there. There were even some little businesses that started to open up just to do delivery, and they charged for their service. See, so those are some things that you need to understand, that you can also charge for your service, and for you to make profit. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand about making a profit is pricing. Okay, pricing is a different workshop on its own. We don't touch it. We not that we don't touch it, we just don't conduct a workshop on pricing. The experts can run a workshop on pricing, like the Prices and Incomes Board. They're the best people that can teach us on pricing. So here we go. On pricing, the first element of making a profit is setting a reasonable sales price. There are a couple of important things that should be considered when setting the sale price. Okay. Firstly, how much the goods and services that the business is selling cost to make or provide should be considered. The business needs to make sure that the price covers all of the operating costs, including production, transportation, and labor. Secondly, what customers are prepared to pay for the goods and services should be considered. Okay, if the price is set too high, then people may not want to buy it. If the price is set too low, the business will not make enough profit or any profit at all. So if you set it too high, you might not have customers want to buy. If you set it too low, you'll have a rush. People will buy, but are you making any profit? Okay, so this is important. When it comes to pricing, I believe here in Fiji, we need to talk to those already in that business. We need to identify how much they usually charge. And behind that charge, you have to start thinking, oh, probably they are paying rent. Probably they pay this, pay that. That's why the price is high. Okay. For Martha, she's operating from a stall, that business, Island Styling, the one we did the income statement for. So she's probably charging a bit extra. One, because in her story we read, she makes colorful, beautiful, and quality. She charges for her quality, and people are willing to pay for that. Okay. So that's something you need to actually understand. You can talk to the people already in that business, compared to someone that if Martha was operating from home, you can tell that there will be a little change in the price, probably because she doesn't incur so much expense. Okay. Otherwise, she can just be on par with a current market price. Everybody's charging that. So remember, different places have different prices. It depends on the market you're selling in. Okay. So I like to relate this story to a Japanese Thai story. Okay, hold on. Let me just do this for us. The Japanese Thai story. I'll just quickly take a picture of this so I can send it to Mervin on Viber, and he can send it out to all of you. Okay. All right. So, okay, the Japanese Thai story. Can you see this? Okay. The Japanese Thai story goes like this. One man goes to China, and mind you, this is a true story. I'm not even making this up. He goes to China and he buys 100 pieces of necktie. $100 pieces of necktie at $1 each. Okay. And then he took that 100 pieces of necktie, he took it to Japan. And he decided to sell at $10 each. See, the first week of his business in Japan, he did not make a sale. So that end of that week, he was sharing to a friend that he was selling his product at the most busiest street, but nobody purchased it. And guess what the friend told him? The friend told him, you can add another zero here from $10 to $100. Okay. Do you think he will be able to sell it at this new price? Anyone not sure?
Maybe.
Maybe. Good. And Harrietta, Evie, Nani, anybody? What are your thoughts? Do you think you'll be able to sell it at this price?
I think so. Maybe.
Okay, good. Okay.
At 100 yen, maybe, but not 100, not $10. What's the Chinese currency? I don't know.
Okay, so let's assume it's $10. Let's assume. Yeah, so it's $10. Friend told another zero to $100. Okay. So what he did, he went and he applied it. Okay. You'll get my point after this. He applied it. After asking, what we have to do, we have to go and seek out the information. After asking, he added another zero. And by the end of the week, it was, look at this. What happened here? Are you able to read that? It was
Sold out.
sold out. Yes. Okay. So it was sold out. Okay. The story is actually true. It did happen. Like he had to buff up the price. I'm just using the $1 each and $10 each so that you can understand my point. Now, what you have to remember is it's the market. Japan, only if it's expensive, then they'll buy. That's the truth. It had nothing to do with the quality. It had nothing to do with the look of it or the design. It was the market. It was the market he was selling in that he understood what price to apply after he asked questions. Simply for us in Fiji, some things we can do is we can just go out and just ask. A lot of business people that I have come across, for example, in the market, they're shy. You know, they know that they want to know this kind of thing. They just feel madwa. And I had to encourage them and tell them, you know, when you want to operate a business, unfortunately, you have to come out of your comfort zone. You have to be uncomfortable about a few things. And when you do that, only then you'll be able to discover what you're looking for, the answer you want. And they were like, true. You know, they just needed the little nudge and the little assurance just to tell them there's nothing wrong with asking. It's nothing to do with being nosy or any. It's you, running your business. If you really deeply care about your business, don't be shy. Go and ask. If they don't give you the answer, if this one doesn't give you the answer, go to the next one. One of them will give you an answer. And no doubt, when you try that tactic, with us, we love to share. Way of we love to share. Some like to withhold information and all that. It's okay. That's their nature, or probably they feel that they don't want to share. That's all right. But one of them will be bound to tell you the answer. It's also your approach. If you approach them and you ask them in such a tactful way, they'll be willing to give you information. They'll be willing to share, in this market, the price is like this. I've even tried it. I go out and I just probe tactfully with them, like, oh, so how much do you sell this for? And then I ask, okay, is there a reason behind it? And they tell me, because this is, the price of getting it is too high. Some say, oh, because now the price is going up, like everybody's selling it at this benchmark. And it's not price control, so they can put it at whatever price they want. And they're winning. They're on their end, not will still purchase. However, my point is, go and find out what is the price customers are willing to pay. Only then you'll be able to know if you're willing to, apply that price. You can apply manage all your expenses. Go back and you scrutinize all your expenses. Everything that you pay, scrutinize it, question it. Is it a need or want? Do I really need this for my business or not? Am I just incurring extra expenses here? Am I taking advantage of my business money now and just, really spending too much? Question all your spending. Only then you can be able to start how to discipline yourself when it comes to the expenses. So that's why expense management is another area for you to look at, so that you can always make a profit. Okay, the lesser you spend, the more profit you'll be generating. Okay, all right. Any questions on that, the income statement? Anyone have any questions? Thank you for that thumbs up, Anne. Okay, now we're going to look at, how do I know the business? How do I keep the business going for the long term? Okay, how do I keep the business going for the long term? Right, here you go. Look at your operating cycle here. Okay, how do you keep the business going for the long term? It's the profit that you're generating from your business. You have to understand how to properly use it. Okay, where do you channel it? If you start generating profit and you start helping yourself to it, oh, I want to spend it on this, I want to go and buy that new shoes, I want to buy my dress, oh, we're having one wedding coming up, I want to give here and there, or someone comes to you and say, you have to pay $100, your solely has to be $100, and then you're thinking, okay, everybody else is paying $50, why am I $100? And they tell you, because you're a business person, you have plenty of money, and you can't say no. Remember the emotions? Yeah, exactly. Emotions influencing your money. There you go. As the business owner, you need to understand your business only operates with the money it has. Okay. Once you remove that, you can have all the ideas, the skill, everything like that. But once you start to disrupt or you start to mismanage the money that the business operating on, your business is starting to be at a high risk. Okay. So to understand how to use the money for the business, this is what you must apply. First of all, you pay the business. Okay. It says here, 3 uses of the profit. Use one, pay the business. When you pay the business, you are buying extra stock. You are probably buying a new equipment. You are probably paying for, like other things like your assets in your business. You need to do that. Channel the profit back into the business. As you are just beginning, try to not touch the money. Keep it for the business to run on it, okay? It all comes down to our willpower, okay? And your understanding, okay? So this is what it means. Only if you understand how to manage the money for the business, then you will be safe. Like the training we are conducting right now is record keeping. Keep the money in the business. Continue to do this because it's going to help your business steady and grow. Okay, so there you go. Pay the business. The second use, pay the people the business owes money to. See that? So if the business has a debt, maybe you need to pay the supplier. Maybe you need to pay for that equipment you took out on hire purchase from courts, something like that, to operate your business. Take the profit and start channeling it somewhere like that. Or maybe you borrowed money from family to start your business. Try to pay off that debt. Slowly, pay it off. Why? Because as long as it still has a debt associated with your business, it's not fully yours. You don't fully own the business. Once you're able to clear it, then that's no more, no other attachment there to your business. Okay. Same thing with equipments. If you go and buy an equipment from courts. Okay. So Martha, the tailoring business, needed a new machine, sewing machine. She went to courts and took it out, and her payment is within 1 year. So if Martha does not pay for her monthly payment to courts, what will they do? They will come and take their machine. That's what will happen. So Martha can operate her business without that machine. So she does not fully own the machine. Okay, until she pays it off, then she can say, I own this. Court still does not have co-ownership because I have paid off my debt to them. Okay, pay the people the business owes money to so that you can secure your business and its assets. Number 3, then it says, pay the owners of the business. That's you. It's called taking it home. That's when you start removing the profit from the business, not all of it, a portion of it maybe, every once in a while, to help you and your family or for you to go and enjoy. Okay, so those are the 3 places you need to channel the profit to. Remember, number 3 is number 3. Not when you start making a profit, you start thinking number 3 is number 1. Because human nature will allow that. We are all human beings, and sometimes we'll get excited, and then we will do that. Another way to put it is, even though you own the business, treat the business like you work for the business. Only one payday, not payday every day. See the difference in what I'm saying? Only one payday. For example, in Westpac, where I work, I just got my income, or my payday was yesterday. And then come next week, Tuesday, I want to go back to them and say, can you please give my pay then for the next fortnight? What will the business tell me? The business will tell me, there's the door. Because I agreed when they told me you will get paid fortnightly, I agreed. There was no agreement there that I can come and claim anytime I want. Okay, so you have to treat the business like you work for the business. And remember, sometimes it might not be the people asking you. Forgive me, I'm going to touch on some sensitive things here, which is to do with our culture. When you start operating a business, you will realize how many people that know you. Same thing as when you have employment. You'll be known. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I'm saying it is that, it's a good thing, but it's not a good thing when you are just being taken advantage of. Your only use is because you will provide the funding. Okay, or because this wedding is coming up, and Broderick is going to buy the mangiti. He's going to buy the whole cow. See? And Broderick is sitting there like, only one cow? I can buy two. See? That's the thing we have to come to our understanding. You might just be opening a can of worm. Okay? Which means that don't go and start allowing your pride to get the better of you and your business. Or you know very well that the business money, I can't afford that mangiti. And then you keep quiet, and then you go home, and then it stresses you out. And unfortunately, it affects your household expense, and your business collapse because you had to buy the mangiti. You had to buy and you quietly suffer. And then your business collapse, and that's it. Nobody's going to come back and help you revive it. Only you will have to struggle again to revive it. Okay, so don't allow for things like that to happen. You only, what I usually say is, you just say what you can give, because at the end of the day, no one else is going to pay your bill. For example, for me, I work in the bank. When it comes to participating in my obligations, my family obligations, I only give what I can afford. I have to remember, I work in the bank. I don't own the bank for me to start thinking and start wanting to show off to my family. Oh, excuse me, I work in the bank. I'm going to pay for all of this. No, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen? I will be coming to the bank and asking for loan here and there. I'll be thinking, oh, because I work in the bank, I can access the personal loan. No. That's not right. So this is something that we have to understand. Oh yeah, Harrietta has said, one day rich and walk. Diane mentioned, truth be told. So forgive me for some of the sensitive things that I'm mentioning here, but I understand. I know that you understand where I'm coming from. So when you want to operate a business, please remember, we have showed you here where you should channel the profit to, and please, when you're just starting off, don't start taking the business money out of the business. Keep it within the business. The expert has said that it takes a business 3 years for it to be actually financially secured. Yes, for your business to be actually stable and to run. If you have survived the first 3 years, then you're good to go. Okay, and you have a question? And you had
No,
your
I
hand up?
don't. Sorry.
Oh,
No.
okay, that's all right. So they have mentioned that first 3 years your business is it's at high risk, and once you've reached the 3 years, your business is set to grow from there. So imagine 3 years, that's a long time. We want our business to just run by the third month, but you know, with this learning here and the understanding, we want you to be empowered and to know, you know, where to from here. Okay, so let me just
I have a question, Marianne.
yes, go ahead.
Is there a set standard number as far as a percentage? For example, you know, how much do we pay? Like, as if you're the owner of the business, how much? Say your business has survived the 3-year benchmark, right? So coming to the 4th year, so what would be the suggested percentage that you would, if you were the owner of the business, pay out to yourself? Is there a set number or percentage? Or do you have to just figure that out on your own based on number 2 and number 1? Or
okay, I believe there is a set percentage that you can remove. That's true. There is a set percentage. I will find that out as well, because it depends on where you're operating a business from. Okay. What I would recommend is sometimes you have to just follow the country law with a minimum wage. That's something that you need to consider. You can do a minimum wage, but for you to start your business, I mean, just starting off, I believe there is a set percentage. Some business owners, they pay themselves maybe 2% of their, I'm guessing this one, but I remember there was a set percentage. I apologize. I don't recall what was a set percentage back then, but some business owners, what I know one particular business was paying themselves 30% of their business, of their profit, 30%. But you can set a set percentage, which is true. I will have to find that out, Deanne. That's a very valid and very good question, because it is true. They do set a percentage to pay themselves with. I'm not sure though about the percentage in Fiji. And I believe, it depends too on the type of business. Depends on the type of business, the size of the business, the percentages, it depends on that. I can find that out as well. Forgive me for not having all the answers to your questions.
no,
But yes.
Just a standard, you know, if even if it's like, for example, if there's like a set world standard, or even with Fiji, you know, there's just an average maybe.
Yeah.
Because there's no way, you know, if you're pulling, I don't think, say for example, on the 4th year, you made like a $50,000 profit. Would you, as a business owner, think it would be logically viable to take 50 grand out to pay yourself? I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Like there has to be like some set percentage in order for it to continue to thrive.
Yes,
right?
That's true.
And
I
it
do
gives
recall,
it gives it order too, I think.
Yes, of course. Of course, it does give it order. You know, some directors I know, because we handle a lot of business accounts here at the bank. You know, they have it actually documented in part of their what do you call that? Their memorandum, their business memorandums. They have it there, how much is paid out to each of the director or the director itself. They set the percentage themselves. Yes. So like I said, it depends on the type, it depends on the size of the business, in how much you're supposed to pay, get paid as the business owner. And that is really good for us to converse about, because that's something you need to consider. As you're starting, you can set an amount. Similarly, when I was talking about savings in the financial first step, I mentioned that you need to start saving at 5 or 10%. So I believe when you are starting off your business, you know, you can also set a 5 to 10% of your savings for the business. You can put money aside just to save for the business. And similarly, you can put a percentage of how much to pay yourself, and you should stick to that. you shouldn't deep too much into your profit, because unfortunately you might get carried away, and then it might put your business at risk when you lack the capacity, in terms of keeping your business stable with the money it has. Okay, so I will go and just inquire again with our business banking team about this kind of information. Yes, but I do recall most businesses, they do have a percentage that they take out for paying themselves. Okay, so this is the chart that I wanted to show you, how the income statement and the balance sheet, how they interrelate. Can you see that, Deanne? Because I believe last week, not last, man, I keep saying last week, forgive me, on Wednesday, we were mentioning, okay, so where do I fit this? And look at it, they do interrelate. So if you look at the asset, equal liability plus owner's equity, that's the balance sheet. The sales, expenses, and net profit, that's your income statement. And it's a cycle, they relate. So after when your business is making a profit, you channel it back to buying, stock or equipments for your business. The money goes to number one, paying for the business assets. Net profit can be used to pay the people the business owes money to, their liability. See? And then pay the owner of the business, there. Money goes out. Okay? Balance sheet, the assets, look at that. When you have assets, it generates your sale. Minus the expenses, profit. So it's a cycle. That's the three uses of the profit. Can you see that? They interrelate. Some people, they use what do they use to forecast their sale. They do this chart where they can the cash flow. They use that chart to, like, forgot what is it, but they have this standard that they can do forecasting for the month after. Once they make a profit this month, they start saying, okay, next month I want to make this much, and they challenge themselves. They set their target ahead before they enter into a new month. So if I generated sales of $200 this month, next month I can tell myself, by next month I want to hit $400. I want to double my profit. Okay, and that's how they reinvest the 200 so that they can earn that 400 later. So they do that, the cash flow. Okay, let me just change that back.
Mary Angela, I'm so sorry. Before you move on, quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
This has to do, remember I asked the question about the tithe in the first session? Where do we allocate the tithe? And you were saying,
That's for your personal expenses.
I think so. You
Yes.
said it was income.
Financial first step. So for financial first step, we did that for your personal income. When we set the budget, you wanted to know where you can put your tithing. And when it's your personal income, you can put your tithing however you want. You can put it in number 2, which is your profit from the well, I'll be quite honest. From the business perspective here in the bank, for me personally, if you put your tithing as part of your expenses, it does not fall in your saving. For number 2, for the financial first step, it's not your saving. It will be an expense that maybe you can include in your living expense. Okay, from a banking perspective, that's how I would put it to you. But from your view, holistically, when I try to make you understand how you are saving your money from your view, probably for you, it's your spiritual growth. You want to invest it, so you will count it as your saving. But from my side, as a banker, if you put that as a regular expense, that you are putting your tithe into your you contribute it to maybe your church. Okay, so that kind of thing, it will come under your living expense because it's a consistent thing that you do. It's the same thing for me if I say you have to pay your utility bill. You have to pay it every month. So the tithing would probably come as an expense, as a living expense, because it's part of your payment all the time. Now, when you're talking about tithing here, you wanting it to apply to the business.
Apply tithing within the church. So for example, if we were to put together our, which we already have, like our financial statement, right? So even with that, it'll still come under living expenses, because it's a monthly, it's a once in a month, it's once a month donation, right?
Oh, you meaning from the church perspective?
Well, I mean,
as
from
in your recording.
you did explain it from a personal perspective. That's great.
Yes.
But I'm just expanding it to another step. If we did this as a church and we're donating out, it is a donation. That's what it is. Once a month. Do we put that under, I mean, would it be classified on record, right? Black and white as a living expense, a donation? I mean, what do we categorize it under? You
talking about
myself, sorry,
you mentioning the balance sheet?
Yeah, for the balance sheet, we call it a love offering. That's what we call it. It's a love offering, which is, in other words, a donation. It's a free will, right? That's what it's called, a free will donation, because people give and then we give collectively, right? One solid amount we give out. So that's what I'm asking you. Do we categorize that on paper? I mean, what does that come under on a balance sheet? Or
yes, you have to reflect it in your recording.
Yes, yes.
Income is coming in. You have to reflect it. However,
what is the terminology? What do we put it? I mean,
I've never had these questions. This question being brought to my attention before, which is so interesting. I'm really interested now to find out. I will have to go and find out from, maybe someone that handles our church accounts, like church accounts in the bank. I have to go and see the manager that looks after the religious organizations accounts. Maybe they can tell me in depth, where does the church reflect this? In what column?
Yeah, because see, remember the first session we had, and you pulled up what was it? The budget,
plan.
right? The budget plan.
Budget.
So then that's why I asked, because I saw the word donation. So obviously, that's what I assume, that
yes.
Since it is a donation, do we, it goes under that category. But now when you're looking at it from a nonprofit, a church under a ministry, this is what I'm asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. See, what I'll do is I will have to talk to our managers in the office that look after our religious organizations, because we have different managers that look after different portfolios. So maybe if they can just share briefly, where some churches reflect their, the money that's been that they receive as tithing, where do they reflect it on the balance sheet? At least I can get that information, send it back to you. Right. Sorry, let's just ask again, Deanne. The question last week, Wednesday, that had, forgive me, just remind me again, what was your question again last week, Wednesday?
As far as tithing, so, tithing. So on a personal level and also pertaining to a nonprofit like a ministry or church, concerning that budget plan that you had set up, right?
Yeah.
So do we record that under, because you had a category donation, and then you said you were going to explain that, talk about that more under the income statement. So yeah, that's basically. I mean the donation isn't an expense, because we're not spending it on anything. It's just we're giving it out. I mean, we're donating it to another non-charitable organization, you know, for example,
This is from the church perspective, eh?
from a
Yes.
church perspective, like to Red
Yes.
Cross or
Yes.
Rotary, or, you know, like any one of these other NGOs or, you know, nonprofits, or what, you know, the whatever terminology that's being used. I mean, it's synonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for our
Okay, thank you.
records, putting it on
Yes,
paper.
yes, of course.
Yeah.
Interesting. Even I'm interested to know where they reflect this. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, Diane. Okay, I will get back to you on that, because the other question you had was to do with goodwill, eh? Okay, good. All right. So just moving on, you know, when it comes to operating your business, you must always plan for the future, eh? Planning for the future. In the past, our business has made a profit. We are happy that it can cover costs, but would like to make more money next year. Now, looking at island styling, just turn on your mics, all of you, and tell me, you know, just give me some feedback or some of your thoughts. You know, what could island styling and waterfall wandering, the two businesses, the touring company and the tailoring business, what could they do to generate new ideas, you know, for the future? What are some ideas that they could add on to their current business? Thank you. Yes, Broderick, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I'll probably start first. So what I
Go
was
ahead.
thinking of was for both of them, what they could do for the long run, similarly to what all other businesses are doing, is not merely focus on the actual business, the main business that they're on. So you have some things on the side that you can sell. So what we see now is merchandise in terms of jewelry or t-shirts, or even like some other products. I mean, because it's a tourism kind of thing. So, you know, some natural homemade products like coconut oil or lotion or something like that. Let's see, you know, just going back to the original conversation that we've been having lately on, you know, being mindful of your expenses as well as all the other costings. But, you know, in order to boost the business, I think the business needs to really venture out into other small projects that can help make the business sustainable. Even from just from my end, I would personally put, like, you know, apart from selling those things as well, is also to market your business. Like, you know, I think social media plays an important role. I think that's some of the things moving forward. Those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Issues. So let's just wait for Broderick. Thank you.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah, no, I was just saying on another note, if apart from selling those small stuff, what they could do is also to promote the business is to venture out into, you know, marketing themselves. Yeah, like you said, and try to step out of your comfort zone. Yeah. So like what I've learned, like especially for Ignite4Change, what we've done over the years, as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, we're very much evidence-based. So, you know, many NGOs, CSOs, or other groups may not have a preferable perspective of, you know, being more vocal on media or putting themselves out there. But I think with what COVID-19 has done is that, and this is related going back to the business. I mean, maybe some people might know this business to a certain extent. It may be through your personal context and all. But I think going out there using the various media platforms, or let alone even engaging the actual media companies to come up there, because, you know, looking at it for long run, heaven knows these two businesses, what they could do, maybe some big companies might sponsor the business in terms of like a promotional package or a price. You know, I'm looking at it in that perspective, or perhaps like, you know, how we see things overseas, you know, when it comes to game shows and all, this could be one of the packages involved there as a consolation. So those are just some of my points that I'd like to share, Mary Angela. Thank you.
Naka. Thank you, Broderick. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes. That's something they can consider, getting you know, getting partnerships with advertising and promotions for their business. those are things that you need to be creative about. You need to go out and seek out and see where it can benefit you at a less expense. Anyone else has any other question? Sorry, apply or part of their plan to grow in the future? Any other ideas? No? Okay, so like right now, Island Styling, she's a sewing business, right? She's a tailoring business, and touring company is Waterfall Wandering, and they're a husband and wife. If you look at it, they are already married. They have a legal marriage happening there already. Why not have a business marriage, as well? Because both companies come in, they're under one family. These two, husband and wife, they can come together. They can come up with ideas on some extra things that Martha could do to help the touring company. Maybe she could, venture into meals, prepping meals for the tourists to, purchase from them, so that they don't have to look at, okay, buying food outside. No, everything's just there. Maybe she can make T-shirts to promote the touring company. Those are some. Yes, Deanne wrote, she can sell her dresses and shirts to her husband's clients. Exactly. She can provide all of that. And she can provide souvenirs in terms of T-shirts as well. And similarly, the touring company can promote her business to his clientele. Or they could come together, when you think about it, as their business start growing. Just another idea, just off the chart that I'd like to share. She's already a tailoring business. He's a touring company. They can open a little hotel, or they can open a little boarding house between them. And the tailoring business can supply all the, the curtains, the bed sheets, so that and they can, work together to create this new business that they can both venture into, maybe a boarding house, so that when the tourists come and they go out, they can come and, use their boarding house instead of using the hotels. Not that we don't want them to use a hotel, but they can, minimize some cost. They can they can provide it as such, promote it as such. Like we have a boarding house where you can come, like a backpackers facility, that kind of thing they can try. Who knows? And they can make it happen, because already, like I mentioned, they are married. Why not bring their business together, come up with a new business together, because it still will benefit the family. So these are some ideas that they can come up with. And this can happen, this can only happen, forgive me, in what is called business planning. Okay, can you see that page? Sorry. I'm not sure what's happening here, but here you go. Business planning. It is easy but risky to think that once the business is set up, that it can take care of itself. Studies have shown that those businesses that plan for the future have a better chance of success than those that don't. A common reason that business owners don't write a business plan is that they are not sure how to start or what to put into the plan. In reality, the plan doesn't need to be long or complicated at all. In fact, the simpler the business plan, the better. See that? Some questions that you can put into the plan is what the business is selling, why the business is selling it, who the business is selling to, and how the business will sell its goods or services. One thing I want to bring up again, Deanne mentioned, you can get an app for your budget, where you can do your recording. Although you may change your device, however, but at least for now, it will help you. Similarly, use what you have already. Look for ideas online, how to create a business plan, so that you can be able to, and they have so many different kinds of business plan when you Google it. So many in the image, and you just look through one that that is aligned to you. Or you can look at that and it'll give you ideas on how to create your own, okay? How to actually draw up your business plan. But these are some key things that you need to put in the plan. The one I read out. What the business is selling, why the business is selling it, why, who the business is selling it to, and how will you deliver this good or service? Are you selling it from a location? Are you selling online? Are you trading only locally or trading internationally? Do you have a category of customers only? Is it only male or female or children, or is it whole family, or is it, you know, like mass market? Those kind of things you have to start asking who you're selling it to and how. When you're able to answer these questions, there you go, you have a plan. Okay, that is going to guide you. That is going to guide you on how to operate and to plan for the future of your business. Okay, any questions on that? I think that's clear. Okay, so we've come to the end of our session, and I'll just conclude for us. Throughout this workshop, we have looked at some of the basic concept of managing the finances of a business. Every business starts with a simple idea, but the idea needs money so that the assets can be bought that the business will use to generate sales and ultimately make profit. The best tools available to manage a business finance are the balance sheet and the income statement. This workshop was designed to help you understand how they work and how to build them. Okay, we were able to construct both of them during the workshop. So this is the beginning of your journey to make your business sustainable and profitable in the long term, not in the short, in the long term. Okay, so I emphasize on that because for me, I believe that, you know, when you're a business owner, I already said it, you work the longest hours, you put in the most effort, you want to see that your hard work will pay off at the end. And that's why it has to be long term. Okay, if you have not understood what you are operating right now, whether it's a long or short term, you don't have a plan. It's time you start sitting down and tell yourself, what exactly is my plan for this? You know, am I just trying to make money right now to help us survive? Or do I foresee that this business that I'm operating, you know, it can actually become something great in the next year, in the year after that, in 10 years from now, it could become something great that my family and I can invest in right now. Yeah. So you have to answer that question. You're able to answer that question, you're on the right path. Okay. So that's the end of our business basic. Like I said, it's a very basic training. You know, it really emphasizes on you understanding the importance of the money of the business and how to operate the business using what you have already or what you need to bring to start the business. Remember this tool, record keeping. It's very important. Don't take it for granted. I have many stories that I can share. Last session, I was sharing about my friend who used to operated my market. And one particular time I met her again. She was a student in one of the institutions here, and I walked in to do this session. I went to her place and I noticed that the people were coming to buy grog from her house. And every time someone came to buy grog, she had a notebook. She had a little notebook and she was taking note of all her sale. And I, you know, when I saw that, I was truly moved that this particular person cares about her business. And the small things she does right now, you know, it has greater impact later on her and the family. You know, because that particular business, you know, selling, you know, yangona, just managing, learning that's the baby step in for you to actually run a really big business. Like you know, one day she could be like the exporter of the country, who knows? But those kind of things, it's your foundation. It's your foundation for your business to grow and for your generations to come to benefit from it. And it really carries a lot of weight in the end. So thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. There's a glossary in this booklet as well. I'm sure you've looked at the soft copy, and all the terms used here, it's there. We've defined it there for you so that it's easier for you. So with that being said, from Westpac, from our general manager, from my manager, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for your patience. Please forgive me if there was a behavior or maybe a term I may have used to offend you. I only try to explain the content of our learning in the best of our understanding, where I use a lot of our own local dialect and dialogues and examples. And I hope that I have done the best of my ability to make you understand how this training, I have fulfilled my role in being able to deliver this session to all of you. Please feel free to come and see us whenever you wish to seek advice. Don't be scared. We are employees. We are here to serve you. And please do come and visit us. And if we don't have the answer, like I said already in a few of the questions, I'll go and look for it, and then I'll send it later to Mervyn here. So I thank you all for your time, and I wish you all the very best. I know that one day I want to come and knock on your door and beg you to come and bank with us. Your business has to bank with Westpac. Okay. So I wish you all the best with your journey in whatever business that you would like to venture into. And God bless you all. Thank you, Mervyn. I hand it back to you.
Thank you so much, Mary Angela. We'd like to acknowledge again, thank you on behalf of Ignite4Change, as well as the participants. Thank you so much for taking out time from your valuable schedule to join us for this important session. What we'd like to do now, just before we conclude, is that we normally go around the room, and then we'll end it for today. I'd like to ask, let's start off with Nanise Mwala, if she could just briefly share us. So what I would like to ask the participants for the following, what have you learned from this training? What have you, what are the things, the two takeaways? So you don't have to give a long speech, it's just being brief and concise. Given you know that it's a weekend and all, and we'd like to ensure that everybody gets something out of this training. So let's start off with Nanise Mwala. Nanise, over to you.
Thank you, Vinaka all. First of all, I want to thank both of you, Mervyn and Marilyn, for this platform. First of all, I was invited by a friend, Petrelli, and I really learned a lot from this. I was sharing this with my husband because most of the time, everything we have earned, when money comes, it just goes. But through this platform, I have learned really a lot. And from my experience, I know that I have planned things ahead for my family and also for my children.
Thank you so much, Nanise, for your comments this afternoon. I'd like to ask Harrietta if she could share some of her comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Westpac and Ignite4Change. I must say I thoroughly enjoyed this training. The final things that I've learned is to be alert, and I'm more aware of my spending, and also the recording. Like we've learned, Minister Dan has shared earlier, if you form that habit of recording everything that you spend, and I guess it makes your planning of your finances a lot more easier, so you're able to identify where your expenses are going. And for the long run, you discipline yourself in your spending and also in your budgeting. So I look forward to the more trainings ahead next year that's going to be offered by Ignite4Change. I'll look out for it and try to share it with the rest of our team who are maybe interested. So thank you so much, Mary Angela, for your time. Your training was very simple, you've explained it in the most simple terms, easier for us to understand in our everyday living and how we go about with our expenses. So with those few words, Vinaka.
Thank you so much for that. I'd like to ask Annette Gok. Annette, just to briefly share your thoughts. Annette, thank you.
Hey, Faftay, Broderick, and Mary. I wasn't able to join the other sessions, but the session that I joined today was actually really eye-opening to, like, for me, especially as a, like, running a small business and just being whole, like, new to it and young in the business. But yes, I really appreciate the Zoom session today, and I look forward to the upcoming ones next year, and hopefully I get to participate in more of these things.
Thank you so much, Annette, for that. I'd like to, again, we also like to acknowledge all the participants in the past 3 training sessions, but in particular, make special mention now of a participant that is tuning all the way from Toulouse in France. So I'd like to ask, I know it's a bit late on the hour, but I'd like to ask Madam Diane Makambo Mataiponga to give her perspectives of the training in the past 3 days. All right, over to you, Madam.
Thank you very much to Ignite4Change for this opportunity and inviting myself and the ministry to be a part of this very valuable information. Thank you so much, Mary Angela, for being a great facilitator and making all of us feel very comfortable and giving us an opportunity to ask questions and for feedback and for all that you've shared. What I have learned is that I need to learn a new behavior. And that new behavior is documenting everything that I spend my money on. In addition to that, you've really refreshed me as far as the accounting point of view. I never liked accounting when I was in high school. As a matter of fact, I went to Jasper, and my first accounting teacher, I hated accounting. I hated math, but thank God that's no longer the case. But I appreciate this newfound refreshing of being held accountable. That's what it is. You know, you have to be held accountable for the finance. I mean, we are being held accountable for other things, right, in life. So why can't we be held accountable for the money that we spend? And also develop this discipline of learning how to really be consciously aware of where our money goes, savings, and then if we're going to go ahead and have a business, I mean, you just really, for the real basic foundation of this wonderful workshop, you really just really laid the foundation and explained it so well. So I thank you. And that's what I've learned. I'm just refreshing and a refurbishing on this accounting. Help me, God, put it together. And this learning a new habit of being much more conscious and accountable to the finances in my life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Madam Diane. I also just, sorry, every second was on the training, but the network's been playing off. She was connecting all the way from Thai level, so that's as far as the network goes. But anyways, let me just read what she had just messaged in the group private message to me before she logged out. She said, I'd like to take this time to acknowledge Ignite4Change and Westpac Fiji, in particular, Mary Angela. Thank you for making the training quite easy. Personally, as someone that has been attending trainings for the past few years, often at times we get bored to death with the training facilitator and how long the speeches are, as well as the terminologies. But you have simplified it in such a way that even the layman person that is by the roadside can understand fully. And I'd like to thank you for that. Her takeaway from the workshop was the importance of knowing the basics of starting up and running a business effectively and successfully. Understanding, of course, how to do the balance sheet, which she intends to improve on, but also learning the income statement. She looks forward to being part of many more trainings in the future. But again, thank you so much, Mary Angela. I must say one of the best training facilitators so far. That's from Every Second by Vatu. So with those words, before we conclude, Mary Angela, I know you've spoken quite in length, but I'd like to just hand it back to you to give the final word before we go. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Your feedback is, I'm humbled by it, and I'm grateful that you able to understand the content of the learning. Yeah? just listening to each feedback, I am grateful that I have done my role, that I have done my part. I have fulfilled that. It's always important to me that when I finish a training, that my participants, they leave, and I know that they have understood the content, or even in my explanation. And forgive me if sometimes I get carried away, if I'm, a long winding road with my explanation, but I try my level best or my extra best to ensure that when you leave, that you're satisfied. Otherwise, I am not satisfied, because it's important that I deliver to the content. That I deliver the content without compromising it, ensuring that the people that are participating have understood the content. I try my best to use the most simple, the villages. I don't run it in English. I may use some English words. They can use English words, but for me, when I'm looking at the participants, I can tell who is with me and who the information is going over. And when I do the group activity, because this is virtual, it's all different and new to us. But this training here, it involves a lot of activity. Most of the time, I'm not the one talking, it's you, the participants. You are doing presentations. I leave the activity with you, you do all the work, and I hope, Mervin, we can organize one where you can be present physically and you can actually see how it actually runs. And they enjoy it, the participants. They go up and they participate, they present the information, and man, the ideas that they always come up with, I'll always be so blown away. Most of my trainings, I'm always learning more of that. Instead of delivering, I learn a lot more at each training. And I thank you all for that. And I hope that that what I have delivered in the 2 trainings is very relevant to each of you. And like I said already, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Ignite4Change Fiji. I have thoroughly enjoyed the 3 trainings that you have organized in these 2 months, from last month and this month. And I look forward to this partnership. I hope it will be long. And I'm really thankful to the caliber of host we have. Broderick has given us a platform that has been outstanding. Thank you so much for that, Broderick. Bring to the table as well the profession that he is in as well, with his NGO and the good work that you're conducting. I truly appreciate it, and I really hope that this newfound friendship between us, the bank and Ignite Fiji, will continue. Broderick and I have been in contact from how many years ago, Broderick, when he was still a student, and he has not lost that contact with me to have this training. And I'm grateful that even though it's taken us that long, he's actually made it happen. I've always heard from him every now and then. He's always keeping in touch. Angela, can we do this? Can we do that? And I'm grateful to you, Broderick, for not forgetting Westpac. And I really look forward to more trainings next year. And with that being said, over to you, Broderick.
Thank you so much for that, Mary Angela. I'm just quite surprised that you still remember after all this time, but thank you. Anyways.
Of course, I never forget.
Thank you so much for that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our training. Just a couple of reminders before we conclude. Emails will be circulated again for the YouTube link, and of course the evaluation form. Mary Angela, I've just for the benefit of not only the participants for this training session, but for the others, could you just give us an update on the certification bit, just to let everyone know?
Broderick and the participants from the 2 trainings and right now, I would really like to sincerely apologize for the delay from our end. I have been following up with our marketing team. At this point in time, I'm not making excuses, but it's quite challenging because our people have not fully returned to the office. They are all operating from home. And the personnel that used to draw up the certificate, he is no longer in that role. He's moved to a different department altogether, to our chief officer's team, and he's contacting the new personnel in that role that used to be his, to acquire the document, the soft copy of it, so that we can start printing the certificate. And I really apologize. In fact, Broderick, I'm getting a bit embarrassed again, trying to give you update when
yeah.
Yes, please forgive me for that. It's not intentional. We have been trying to get them to give us the template so that I can print the certificate and hand it over to you. And please be rest assured that we do give the participation certificate. It's just unfortunate that this particular time, this is the first time it has happened. The delay has gone this far. But I will continue to follow up on it. And once I'm able to get it, then I'll be able to give you, because unfortunately I don't draw the template. It's actually done by our marketing department. I only wish that I had that level of authority to draw the template, or that level of skill as well to draw up to design it. But it's beyond my skill sets to do and maybe I could Google it and do it, but it needs proper authorization from the bank. And I will press a little extra pressure this time to get it, with good intention too, because you have been tirelessly following up, and please be patient with us, and thank you for your patience. I will have to sort this out right after this to just find out what's happening, and why our people haven't given us the template, and then we will get it across to you. So thank you for that. I really don't know how else to explain it, but the truth only, Pinaka.
No worries, no worries. So what we'll do, just for the benefit of all participants, what we can do, Mary Angela, if you can also just send me a soft copy of this, the certificate and the hard copies, what I can do for the benefit of all participants. So what we'll do a general announcement. So that's for everybody's information. And we want to underline this and make it very clear. There's an agreement between Westpac, Fiji, and Ignite4Change. The understanding is that, but only for this training session, we make an exception. But for the past 2 training sessions, we've emphasized very greatly that a participant must be able to sit down in all 3 sessions. But for this training session, because it's the last one, and of course, in the past few days, we've been having fluctuations in our members coming in and out, but that shouldn't be an excuse, as Mary Angela had said. What we'll do when we get the soft copy, for those, so Madam Diane, we're gonna sort out yours, because you're all the way in front. So that part we'll sort out from our end at Ignite4Change. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that. We'll take care of that for you. But for the others, once that's been circulated, you'll get your own soft copies. You'll be emailed privately. Your soft copies. If you require a hard copy, we'll advise you on that. I'll be in constant communication with Mary Angela. Hold on.